All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a topic that's, well, it's pretty weighty today, especially since it's the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation.
Yeah, it's definitely something we can't just, brush aside.
No, not at all. We've got some intense reports, even some firsthand stories, all from the UNFPA, to really understand the issue and, more importantly, how people are working to stop it.
It's one of those topics, right, that folks might find uncomfortable, but just looking away doesn't mean it disappears.
100%.
Mm.
And the UNFPA, their report, it just hits you with the global scale of this. Over 230 million girls and women alive right now have gone through FGM.
Wow.
And the projection is, if nothing changes, we're talking another 27 million by 2030. That's just heavy.
Those numbers are, yeah, they're stark. And I think it's crucial to get this. FGM isn't one single procedure. There's a range, and they can go from partly or even fully removing the clitoris to narrowing the vaginal opening. And each one, it comes with the risk of really serious damage, both physically and mentally.
It's rough stuff. But there is a glimmer of hope in the UNFPA's report. They're seeing a decrease in how common FGM is in a lot of countries, which is good news. And they highlight these initiatives like Patterns of Hope, which zeroes in on the people who are actually making change happen.
Right, like th- the folks on the ground doing the work, that's huge. There are organizations like Rescue Right Africa. They're doing amazing stuff, educating girls and their families about FGM, but also, and this is so important, giving them support, with education and job opportunity.
Yeah, giving them a path forward.
Exactly. Empowerment, that's got to be a big part of this.
Absolutely. And the UNFPA report, they spent a lot of time on their work in Djibouti, where they're noticing this trend, a real shift in how different generations view FGM.
Oh, I see.
I'm super curious about how that plays out in real life, though. The report, it actually quotes someone saying, the new generation is different. But is that enough? Just changing attitudes? How do we know it's leading to actual action?
That's the key question, right? So in Djibouti, what they're seeing is young people are way more aware now of how harmful FGM can be. And they're not staying silent, they're speaking out against it, pushing for laws to protect girls. That's a huge step.
It is. It's like they're taking ownership of the issue.
Right. And it's not just about being vocal, it's about supporting the organizations that are already doing the work. Like that Rescue Ride Africa group we talked about, they're providing the education and resources that are needed to actually break this cycle.
It's a two-pronged approach. You got to raise awareness and then give people the tools to actually make change.
Exactly. It's got to be more than just talk.
Totally. So this generational shift, it really seems like it's a move towards protecting girls' rights, their well-being. But there's this warning, too. The report, and there's also a joint statement from the UNFPA, UNICEF, and the World Health Organization, they all say there's a real risk of things backsliding. What makes this progress so fragile?
Well, it's not a simple answer. We're talking about deeply ingrained social norms, the pressure to conform, and then there's just plain misinformation. Some people still believe there are benefits to FGM, which is just not true. And on top of all that, if you throw in conflict, instability, that can make things way worse. And we see a resurgence of the practice.
It's like taking one step forward and then being yanked back 2 steps. It's disheartening.
It is. It's really tough. But we can't lose sight of the progress that is being made.
You're right. Got to stay hopeful. But it sounds like to tackle this, you need a strategy that hits it from all sides. What about these organizations, UNFPA, UNICEF, WO? How do they work together in this fight? What does that collaboration look like?
Oh, they each bring their own strengths, right? Like the UNFPA, they're all about reproductive health and rights, working directly with communities to empower women. Then you've got UNICEF, they're laser focused on children's rights, especially education and protection. And then the WHO, they bring the hard science, the data, the technical know-how that helps shape policies and interventions.
So it's like a 3-pronged attack. You've got advocacy, you've got education, and you've got the scientific backing for it all.
Precisely. By working together, they can address the issue from every angle. It's a much more holistic approach.
And you realize this fight to end FGM, it's not a local thing. It's got to be global. We've seen the heartbreaking stats, but also the glimmers of hope, the progress that's happening. One thing's clear, though. Everyone's got a part to play. What can our listeners do? What actions can they take to get involved and support this movement?
I'd say the first thing is awareness. Learn about FGM. Understand the reality of it and talk about it. Spread the word. Then support organizations that are doing the work on the ground, like Rescue Right Africa. They're making a tangible difference.
Yeah, they're boots on the ground, literally.
Exactly. And most importantly, use your voice. Advocate for change. Talk to your friends, your family, your representatives. Every little bit counts, every action, no matter how small, it all adds up. It all contributes to a future where girls are free from this harmful practice.
That's a powerful thought. And it's a good reminder that even though this is a complex, deeply rooted issue, change is possible.
Absolutely. We've seen it happening.
We have. And thanks to the work of organizations like UNFPA, UNICEF, WHO, and countless others, that change is gaining momentum.
And it's up to all of us to keep that momentum going.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive and for all you do in this fight. To our listeners, stay informed, stay engaged, and let's work together to build a world where every girl is safe and empowered.
Here, to a brighter future.